Guys, welcome back to my channel, The Inked Reader. Today I am doing what I called an sudden, impetuous book haul, as you want to call it. It's not because all of a sudden I acquired all books have appeared out of nowhere, but actually I've had my book club meeting today. So I went to central London and I went to Forbidden Planet, which is a comic book store, with the aim of just purchasing the next volume of Chainsaw Man I didn't own. And then mistakes were made and I have got a huge bag full of books. I mean, it's not too extensive, but instead of purchasing one thing, I ended up purchasing like 6 or 7. I don't know, I didn't count. As soon as I came home, after stuffing my mouth with olives, I thought I could do a small haul, including a few books that I had purchased in the last couple of months. I've not bought many books, to be honest, which is good, because I do own too many that I've not read yet. And I am definitely purchasing at least half comics rather than just books. But I've got a few here, and I'm just gonna delve into the ones I had from before opening this up. But let me start with a couple of random ones, because the other two bunches I can actually explain where I bought them. But I've got the next book in the Malazan Book of the Fallen. This is House of Chains. And also I'm filming at night, and with this, room light. So let me know if it's awful, because usually I film during the day, but I came home, it was already dark. So got these. This is book number 4 in the Malazan Book of the Fallen. I will try to get around to read these before a year has passed, as I've read the other installments. So I've kind of read one a year, and I think it's too far apart from each other and I forget stuff. So I want to purchase these and potentially January, February, around that time continue on with the series before I forget everything else, or even before, we will see. And then I've got volume 5 finally arrived. I had pre-ordered these around a year ago, if not more, of the Kurosagi Delivery Corps. This is a manga series, and I think this is the last one that it's out. I am honestly don't know if any more volumes will see the light of day in English, because I think the Japanese one has way more volumes, but in English only 15 were ever translated. So I think these will conclude those 15. So I don't know if the Dark Horse will continue on. I hope so. This is, I'll show you some of the art, I'll show you the first page so there is no potential for any spoilers. This is a adult paranormal series, horror-ish, where you follow a bunch of characters. They all have paranormal powers linked to death and corpses, and they are just trying to survive university, get some money in, and the way they do it is they put up a corpse delivery service where they find bodies, and through their powers they can reunite the bodies, because they can talk with the bodies, they can reunite the bodies with the family, they can solve murders, mysteries, whatever it is that the body has gone through. And it's episodic as a series, which is not something I necessarily love, but it comes up with such fun ideas, and the dynamics of the group and the comic relief in it I really truly enjoyed, and I want to continue on. And they also look lovely on the shelves. This contains 3 volumes, by the way. Then there is a bunch of 4 books I found while shopping. I was just doing grocery shopping, and there was like a section. I went to a new shop and there was a section that was just like kind of do a promotion. So if you purchase like 4 books, you pay 3 or something of a sort. So there were some very popular titles that I wasn't necessarily too eager to get around to, but when they were so cheap, because they were already cheap, I was just like, okay, listen, let me pick them up and read them. So I've got those 4 in here. I don't know, the one I'm hesitating, because it could very much be a win but could very much be a miss, is Verity by Colleen Hoover. This is the only thriller I think Colleen Hoover has written so far, correct me if I'm wrong, but this was initially sold as a very dark romance, and then people said no, actually this is a thriller. And it's about basically this author, she's very much down in her luck, and then this man hires her to actually complete a series of novels that his wife, who's now disabled, or she's gone through an accident, she's recuperating, has been known to write. So she was kind of this author, Lorraine Lowen. She is hired as kind of a ghostwriter for, the wife that can't read at the moment of this man. And when she goes there, she goes for the notes of the woman. She noticed that the woman has actually wrote a biography, but there are very dark secrets inside that biography, which was probably why I never saw the light of day. The only thing I am a bit hesitant is that with books like these, sometimes I might guess the twist earlier on, and if I think the twist is silly, then I'm gonna hate the book. If I don't see it coming, it surprises me, then there are more chance that I might enjoy it, even if I might find things silly. I don't know, I'm not saying that it's silly, but I'm just saying that sometimes it has happened. So if I find that the reveal isn't so silly, but it kept me, on the edge of my seat, I was entertained and I didn't see it coming, at least there was that. But if it's a bad combination of seeing it coming a miles away and then being still silly, we will see. So I'm a bit, I don't know. I kept postponing reading that. Another one that keep postponing reading it because I think it's very polarizing. A lot of people love it, a lot of people are just meh. But most people love it. But it never appealed to me was Beautiful World, Where Are You? Or any, to be fair, Sally Rooney books. I'm not into contemporary fiction that much. I do have some gems and I do enjoy overall literature fiction, but very specific kinds. And this feels very contemporary. This is about these kind of 4 people and they have like a boy and a girl, and they are attracted to each other, and you basically follow them trying to put their lives together and then trying to navigate the fact that they're falling for each other and so forth, which is very much not something that appeals to me at all. But I want to see where the hype is because everybody loves this woman. And I want to see if I love her or if I just don't care. Same thing, which is not my cup of tea, but I wanted to give it a try, and for like £5 I said I can. And I love the cover. It's Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I think this is her most popular book, or the one that was on, favorite of 2001 books list of many people that I've seen. So I was curious. This is a romance book, but I've heard it's also very much like a contemporary story. So the romance is there, definitely there, but there is something more to it. And it's about this literary agent that can't stand this best-selling author. And then she decides to go for a break on this like dreamy city or like remote village in USA, and when she gets there, he's there, and now they have to kind of like be in the same place and keep meeting each other while hating each other. And we will see. I think it's like hate-love relationship, which I hope it's fun, I hope it's nice. I'm not into romance at all. I don't read that, or I probably listen to an audiobook 1 or 2 for all the year, so I might not get around to read these this year. We will see, but I've got it and get around to it. It's also very famous, so I'm curious. And then of that last journey that I got was Daisy Jones and the Six. I'm more optimistic about this because I did really like the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So this is the story of this band. In the 60s, 70s, they were very famous, everybody knew them, and then they disbanded because things happened between them. And I think it does take as a format a bit like the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, in the sense that we now see Daisy and she's been, she's now older and she recounts what happened then, which is a format that I really enjoy. I'm curious. I think I'm gonna love this. Then I've actually got a bunch of books that I purchased for the reading challenge, which should be up my channel already because I wanna put that challenge up before I actually show you the books in this haul. That I read basically your most disturbing books that you have ever read. The ones I physically have in my hands are Exquisite Corpse, and if I'm correct, this is about this serial killer. He manages to fake his death and then avoid prison. And then he immigrates to USA, where he finds a fellow man who also likes to kill and torture people. And they go on this journey trying to find the perfect victim. And I think things go from there because the two start getting along very well, but then stuff happens. So I'm very curious to see where this is leading. I follow some horror reviewers saying that this was intense. So, yeah. It sounds like it's a journey in itself, the book. And then I have got The Wasp Factory. This is the story of this 16 years old boy who at the beginning of the book, at least from the back, you already know that he has committed 3 murders and now he wants to stop. But I don't know if he's going to recount the events that led to those 3 murders, or we're going to follow him down a spiral of murder and mayhem. We will see. But this is another very popular book that you recommended. Then I've got this is actually 3 books in one. I think it's a true story. Story of this man who was terribly abused as a child, and his history of how he managed to survive there and how he managed then to, you know, make a life for himself and then help other people that have gone through similar things. So it sounds very much right up my alley in terms of trauma and literature on trauma. I have personally found in my life that personal trauma and trauma literature can impact me way more than horror does. So there is a potential for this to disturb me a lot. Then I've got The Butcher Boy, which is Irish fiction. And this is the story of this boy who's just a bit naughty. Up to no good until one day he gets in a fight with the mum of one of his friends because she accuses him of stealing something. And then he just goes down a spiral. And I think we're gonna see him becoming very violent. I really hope there is not too much animal cruelty in this. To be fair, so far like I've read stuff with animal cruelty in it, and I managed to kind of think of this as just a book. So if I try not to visualize it, I'm okay. I've been okay in the past, but we will see. Hopefully the title has nothing to do with butchering animals. We'll see. And finally, the last book, physical copy, is Off Season, and this is a book that I've seen going around for ages and I always wanted to pick it up. And it sounds like it's about this woman. She goes to this house in Maine to retire. I think she's also like a editor, so she just wants to go there, have a nice holiday, but she ends up going to live near this cannibal family, and it's a survival story against a bunch of cannibals, and it sounds horrifying. So this has a potential to actually be very disturbing, and everybody who's read this, we were like, whoa, what was that? So I have high hopes for this to disturb me a lot. And okay, let me see. Okay, we got this. I'm just gonna pick out the 2 books I've got at Waterstone, and then we're just gonna go into the Forbidden Planet haul because I didn't have just comics. So I've got Certain Dark Things, and I actually found this book because I was looking for vampire books. I've done a video a couple of weeks ago about my favorite literature on vampires, and I realized how I miss it and how as of late I've not read many of those. So I was looking for vampire books and this came up, and first of all, it's a gorgeous cover. I still have to read Mexican Gothic Baja. It's kind of urban fantasy where you have this street kid just trying to, you know, survive, and then he meets this very ancient, powerful, beautiful vampire, and somehow they team up together to survive the city. It's an urban fantasy where vampires are out in the open, and there is a hierarchy and there are mobs, mafia stuff going on. We will see when I read it. And then this book, I entered and I saw it and I was just like, wow, like I don't even know what this book is about, but I can't live it down. Just looking at this makes me feel calm, and just like, I love it. In person it's even more beautiful. Such a nice range of color. Anyway, this is Magic Steeped in Poison. Never heard of these, but this is a story of this girl, and she has somehow killed her mother by accident, in the sense that she gave her this tea that was poisonous and she didn't know, and the mother is dead, and now her sister seems to have done the same, so seems to have ingested this poison, and she wants to find out how to save her sister. So the only thing she can think of to find answers is to take part in this competition hosted in the Imperial City, where they are looking for the next best official royal tea making master. So she goes there, she has to compete, and of course there is betrayal and competition, and there is a lot of interest potentially. I mean, this is a book about a girl that poisons people, and then she takes a competition about, you know, making tea, which sounds like, because I don't like tea, for me it's like, why is this appealing? Because of the cover. This is a cover buy, okay, but I'm curious what it's been done here, because if there is beautiful writing, and if she can make me be interested in a tea competition, which I really don't care anything about, it's gonna be a plus for the author. We will see. So yeah, let's get into the things. Oh, so first of all, the reason why I went actually there was to purchase one volume of Chainsaw Man, and that was volume 7. And I ended up purchasing volume 8 and oh, it's gone, volume 9, and I really hope I can pace myself and not devour them, because I want to review them singularly. So this is my new obsession, one of my new obsessions. And I love Chainsaw Man. It's the story of this guy. He's basically raised up on his own. The only friendship he has is with a demon pet dog. And he's actually been hired by the mafia, local mafia, to take, you know, small jobs here and there. And then they give him some money so he can eat. And then one day they set him up for, and something horrible happens. And this boy, he ends up becoming a demon, and he's been hired by this kind of secret agency that fights demon using partly demons themselves. And there is a bit like, I think it's not too complex, the world so far, like it's layered, and I enjoy it. And I think there is a lot about this division that he's joining that we can find out about. So I'm very curious. There are very fascinating characters, but I think it's well explained and simple enough that you can grasp it in a few volumes, at least so far. We will see. And then I think I've got volume, this actually is Titan Books. I think this is like, there are a series of these, but I think they can be like pretty self-contained, and this is Lenore. Was looking for more spooky reads for October, and although this is not the first one, I might try and purchase the other ones as well if I love these, but I'm okay without having to read these in order, which is very weird for me. Like, if I could go back, probably I wouldn't purchase these because I didn't know it was a third one, but now I'm just gonna go ahead with it. And it's just, I don't know, I just love the art so much. I don't even know what it's about. It just says that it's about that girl, that she's up to no good, prank, gruesome games. She's just a dead girl that comes back to life, and she's up to no good, and she's up to no girl, and she's up to no good, but she's also very cute, I guess. The art is stunning, guys. Like, can we appreciate the art? Oh, I'm gonna enjoy this so much in October. I was looking for spooky graphic novels and manga, and I'll keep looking. So I might actually, if I end up purchasing more, I'm gonna add some clips here and there, probably to this haul, but we will see. And then I found a bunch of extra cheap Adventure Time comics, and I was just like, I need to purchase them because I love Adventure Time. It's just the kind of, you know, when you read, I read a lot of heavy stuff, and so Adventure Time is that kind of break I need sometimes. So randomly, because I couldn't find, so I found volume 8, which is, I think I'm up to this point, I don't own volume 8. I just show you one page and then the rest is always gonna be the same. I love the art of Adventure Time. Just looking at these panels makes me happy. There is a cartoon of these anime, and what you call it, I never watched it. I'm just digesting the story in this way. And then, so this is volume 8, and then I've got volume 12. But again, $2.99. like usually at least £10 these. So for £2.99. And then the most crazy thing is actually I got like hardbacks. These are just spin-off, and it's just a bit bigger, so I've got this one, and then I've got Adventure Time with Fiona and Cake, which I've already read probably one, but again. Now this actually I already owned and I've read a few months back, but I do like how they look more than the one I had, and for literally £4.99 I was like, if I find other volumes with these, I'll just sell my copy and keep this version that's a bit bigger and hardcover. So we will see. For now I'll keep it, and then let's see how many spin-offs I can find in the same hardcover version. And I think when you go to Forbidden Planet in London, the good thing is that you find hardcovers, or like you got like a big sale section, and you know, of course there are no new releases or anything, but Adventure Time is pretty old, so, and I still like it, I still collect it, so you can find stuff in it. And then the one that I kept debating, the last thing, I kept debating if I want to purchase it or not. The price was a bit high, but I love the art, how it looked. I don't know anything about this. I didn't know what this was. I just went there, saw the title. It's my favorite classic ever. So it's like, I need to purchase it. And then I opened it up. It was so weird. So this is Dracula by Alberto Brechas. And I don't know. Usually I wouldn't spend like almost £20 on a graphic novel that I've never heard of. But then I opened it up and I saw the art and I was just like, okay, this is like nothing I've ever seen. It's so gross. I just want to know. And I think this is a kind of like a spin-off of Dracula, if you want, where you've got Dracula that it's, you know, his glory days are long behind him and he just has to survive. But I've seen some panels that were kind of bloody and I was just like, okay, this is a perfect read for October. I do honestly like Dracula. Like, Dracula has changed me, that book. I think it's a staple in my life. Dracula as a classic and as someone who loves vampires. So I was just like, you know what? All the other stuff I got is very cheap. Like, you know, these ones is 342 or whatever. And Volve Adventure Time, it was like the highest one was £4.99. So I justified myself spending £20 on these just because of that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to just get on a blanket on the sofa in October and just spend half an hour with these. And yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy about these. So funny story, I just filmed all of these and then noticed that I had not pressed record. So let's do it another time, second take. So the only book I've actually purchased in the last few couple of months has been Ordinary Man, Reserve Police Battalion 101 and The Final Solution in Poland. This is a non-fiction book that explains how ordinary policemen were sent to Poland to be part of a final solution where they basically mass murdered women, children and men indiscriminately by shooting them for hours on end. And yeah, the author intention is to explain how it's possible for ordinary men that were not violent prior to war to then go and commit mass shootings. And so I've already read these as part of my September wrap up, if you're interested in what I thought about these. And all the rest are graphic novels. So first of all, sequels. I've purchased the sequel to Vinland Saga, historical Viking story about this boy whose family is murdered by Vikings, but then he's raised by them, and it's about a lot of his conflict, for what I gather, of, you know, working and loving his enemy at the same time while wanting revenge. This is some of the art. These books looks amazing.
they're very expensive, and there are like 1 million of them. And then the other sequel is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This is volume 2 of the Phantom Blood series, and I'm gonna show you some of the art that I can. Oh god, it's so violent. Let me see. I can't show you the first page as I usually would do because it's, well, very violent. And this is a fantasy cozy series. It's mostly a companion series. You might have Phantom Blood where you follow like certain characters, and then there are new series with other characters. But so far it's been fun. Absurd body proportions in these, but it's been entertaining. So I want to continue on. And these books, they do look amazing, don't they? And then a couple of new ones I purchased for Halloween season. The Me You Love in the Dark by Scotty Young and George Corona. I love Scotty Young series. Hate Fairyland, my favorite graphic novel, feel-good graphic novel. I'll show you some of the art. This is a horror, spooky graphic novel about this artist who retires to an old town in an old house in order to find inspiration, and instead, I think if she finds horror instead. We will see. And the other one, I don't know the synopsis of this, but this is Something Is Killing the Children. This is a compendium edition, so it contains more than 1 volume. I don't know anything about the synopsis of this, but has been all the rage. It's been all over the place, and I heard amazing things about this, so I wanted to continue. I mean, I wanted to try it, and it looked absolutely amazing, and it wasn't too expensive to justify me purchasing a graphic novel that I don't know anything about. And it's spooky, it's horror, it's my favorite kind of genre when it comes to graphic novels. So yeah, Something Is Killing the Children is gonna happen, and it's massive. I love it. We'll see what I think about this.
I'll see you next time, so take care of yourself. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you've purchased recently. Ciao!